So let me ask you something right off the bat. What is your immediate knee-jerk reaction the exact second you feel a wave of anxiety, boredom, or just general uncertainty? Do you immediately reach into your pocket for your phone? Do you open up an app you literally just closed 10 seconds ago? Be honest with yourself about what you instinctively do.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into a genuinely fascinating concept, the philosophy of discomfort. It's kind of amazing to think about why our default human setting is to rush to escape discomfort rather than simply letting it exist. It's a reflex we all share, but understanding the machinery behind it, well, that can completely change how you experience the world and your own mind.
All right, Section 1, the urge to escape. Why we run from our feelings.
Okay, let's look at the biological reality here. It really all comes down to a little thing called homeostasis. Basically, it's your body's natural, deeply ingrained wiring to reduce pain and restore balance, both physically and psychologically. And this is incredibly important to establish first because it validates you. Your instinct to seek immediate relief when you feel bad, it isn't a weakness. It's practically hardwired into your DNA to keep you safe. But the problem occurs when every single uncomfortable feeling is treated by your nervous system like a 5-alarm fire. Not all discomfort is a signal to escape, you know? Sometimes it's just a signal that you're learning something new.
Moving on to Section 2, the brain's uncertainty trap, the science of avoidance.
You see, it turns out your brain absolutely despises uncertainty. It hates it. So when a situation feels emotionally uncomfortable, your brain immediately starts hunting for quick fixes. Checking your phone for the 100th time, seeking constant reassurance from a friend, suddenly finding an excuse to avoid a task, distracting yourself with mindless content, or even making a rushed impulsive decision just to end the suspense. Doing these things absolutely provides a fleeting sense of short-term relief, for sure, but it comes at a steep psychological cost.
And this builds into this very predictable, almost invisible cycle. First, you feel the discomfort. Next, you seek immediate relief, like grabbing that phone. But here is the trap. Your brain logs that data. It learns that discomfort is dangerous and literally must be escaped in order to survive. And that leads directly to the final step, where your future anxiety actually intensifies. By repeatedly avoiding the feeling, this psychological mechanism secretly trains your brain to be even more terrified of it next time. It's crazy, but your avoidance is literally reinforcing your anxiety.
Section 3, the philosopher's perspective. Ancient and modern wisdom on discomfort.
To help guide us out of this modern panic response, we've got three major philosophical mentors, starting with the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. He famously noted that we don't control what happens, we only control our response to it. And here is the kicker. Resistance to discomfort often creates more suffering. Epictetus is challenging us to realize that the discomfort itself isn't always the enemy. It's our frantic, exhausting resistance to it that creates a secondary, much heavier layer of suffering. Think about it. We suffer way more from fighting the feeling than from the feeling itself.
Next up is another Stoic heavyweight, Marcus Aurelius, who offers this brilliant reframing question. Instead of asking, how do I get rid of this feeling, ask, can I remain with it for a little longer? I want you to just sit with that idea for a second. Think of an uncomfortable feeling you've had recently. Now imagine just remaining with it. Just pausing for a moment to experience what letting go feels like in real time. It completely changes the dynamic, doesn't it? You go from being a victim hunted by your feelings to an empowered observer simply watching them pass by. And that brings us to a slightly more modern perspective from philosopher Alan Watts. He observed that the harder we try to force relaxation or certainty, the more elusive they become. This is the great paradox of discomfort. The absolute irony is that trying to instantly eliminate your anxiety actually acts like a magnifying glass. It just makes it stronger. When you forcefully demand that your mind relax right now, you are, by definition, in a state of tension.
Section 4, the cost of comfort. What we lose when we always escape.
You know, there's this really common false belief we tell ourselves constantly. Once this feeling disappears, I'll be okay. We kind of just wait for a perfect, calm moment to actually start living. But the reality is quite the opposite. A meaningful life involves temporary discomfort. If you base your entire well-being on the absolute absence of discomfort, you're going to be chronically disappointed. Because a rich, deeply meaningful life absolutely demands it.
Just think about the most important things in your life. Learning a new skill? It's frustrating. Having necessary, difficult conversations? Nerve-wracking for sure. The uncertainty before making a major life decision is terrifying. Navigating grief, having the patience for waiting, opening yourself up to vulnerability, these are all profoundly uncomfortable states, but they're also the most human, most expansive experiences we can have. If you constantly escape discomfort, actually, scratch that. You aren't just escaping discomfort. You are escaping growth. You're running away from the very friction that shapes you into who you are meant to be.
Which leads us to Section 5, Rethinking True Peace, Tolerating the Uncomfortable.
So this concept basically completely redefines our ultimate goal here. The opposite of anxiety isn't constant comfort. We really need to stop chasing this impossible dream of a perfectly padded, frictionless life. The true opposite of anxiety is learning that discomfort can be tolerated. True peace means realizing that discomfort is a natural state. It's a biological signal of growth, of learning, or of engaging with meaningful friction in your life. It is not an emergency siren telling you to evacuate your own mind.
I want to leave you with a final, absolutely crucial thought. Peace doesn't come from never feeling uncomfortable. It comes from knowing that discomfort doesn't always need to be escaped. Just let that sink in for a moment. The next time you feel that wave of anxiety, boredom, or uncertainty wash over you, what would happen if you didn't reach for your phone? What if you just let the feeling be there, knowing you were strong enough to survive it? Until next time, keep exploring those uncomfortable spaces.